Told the plug I need 100 pigs. Now my shoebox got 100 G. I told my plug I need 100 pigs. Now my shoebox got 100 G. Told the plug I need 100 pigs.
Good afternoon. You're listening to Cannabis Corner on WNHHLP 103.5 FM, broadcasting live from downtown New Haven. We are streaming live video on TuneIn Radio and NewHavenIndependent.org. We're also streaming live video on Facebook Live. Just go to Facebook.com/New Haven Independent or go to your Facebook page and look us up.
Yes,
You can also find us on Facebook with Cannabis Corner New Haven.
Yep.
So
like the
please
page.
like the page,
Follow it.
Yeah.
See first. All that awesome stuff. That I know I'm just throwing in here some energy for you, Joe.
I like it, though.
Just trying to help you out there. You know,
I love it.
For the first time, that was the first one I ever heard. That was just...
And look who's joining us today.
Where?
Yeah. We got to get her on camera.
Oh, I ate all the Twizzlers already. Sorry. I might have been
Kebra
motivated.
Smith-Bolden is coming into the studio today.
We got some swag.
So, oh, yeah, I already got mine.
Oh, then that's mine. They're nice. I'm keeping this.
Yeah, put that up to the camera.
Well,
Oh, wait, we're not
on
on it yet. Okay. So,
hey. I love your hair.
Oh, nice.
I just have to say that's
yes.
beautiful.
So, while we're waiting to get the cameras back on.
But that doesn't change the radio, Joe.
No.
We're still on the radio, brother.
That's it. We're still on air.
I'm grabbing the mic.
You're on camera too.
Oh, we are.
See?
I
We
just had
just-
it pulled over here for a second.
We just can't see it. All right. So
That's
we're
all right.
still on camera.
Oh,
Good.
Don't go doing nothing that you wouldn't want the world to see.
That's
No, we
it.
got these really cool.
Can of
Thank
Health.
you, Kebra. I saw them on the internet the other day, and she got
Can
some
of Health
swag
pens. Yeah.
for me. Thank you.
We
I
have them
appreciate
down
you.
at the Can of Health Milford office.
That's right. And now they'll be sitting inside the office at the farm.
Nice.
We got some sitting there in the office
lovely.
at the
Nice,
farm.
nice.
So, how's everybody weekend? Mine was kind of quiet. Just did
You were
the-
low key, Joe, right?
Yeah, I was invited to CannaCon, but I didn't end up going.
All right. And
Um,
was there a farmer's market on Sunday?
There was, so
There
I ended
was?
up
Okay.
working that with Go-Go Joe's.
Nice.
I went and saw Ricky D's.
Yeah.
Yeah, on
Ooh, I could
Saturday.
go first.
Oh man, I had Ricky
Oh.
D's last week.
Brisket.
Yeah.
See,
I want some
cheat.
brisket.
I take the brisket and I put it on top of the mac and cheese with some
Oh.
coleslaw right on top,
Oh.
and then I just eat it in one big bowl, and it's just like,
Well, I don't eat.
"Arr."
I take it off the sandwich too. Like I don't eat it on the sandwich, and I don't even put barbecue. I put the barbecue, his sauce on the
Yeah.
side, and like dip it.
It's
Yeah,
good.
That,
Well,
that's why we
your-
got to get that
if people
CBD
don't
sauce.
understand, we like that barbecue.
Yes, so we love it.
Ricky D's is definitely endorsed by this radio show.
Yes,
So-
located on Winchester Avenue.
That's right.
in the heart of New Hallville.
Yeah,
All
he,
of our friends over there. I love
he has a
Ricky D.
great CBD barbecue sauce,
Yes, he
which I
does.
picked up a few more bottles for Go-Go Joe's. It's
That's
starting
awesome.
to sell. It's moving off the
Nice.
shelves.
Very
Nice.
nice. Very
Yeah.
nice.
So, and I've been working on new packaging
Oh,
for the
very
Go-Go
nice. For the
Joe's coffee.
Very
New
nice.
brews, all
Nice.
coming locally, straight out of Stratford. The
Straight out of
whole that's
Stratford.
it.
Yeah, you have a
Yeah.
great relationship with that coffee roaster, and he's
Yeah.
a premier, like that's
Yeah.
a premier type of coffee over
Yeah,
there.
it's gourmet. Much, definitely a
step above.
A step above. It's going to come in 4-ounce packages instead of 1 ounce.
That's awesome.
Oh, nice.
250 milligrams of CBD,
there
so
we
it's
are.
going to have a lot more CBD. It's
Nice.
going to come in dark, medium, and light roast. So we're going to keep it simple, and they'll all be very gourmet. Our first run is a Peruvian organic.
Peruvians trying to do
Yeah.
me in.
Type of thing.
Yeah, so there you go. There's my big news. I'll be launching it right after Labor Day.
We love it, Joe. We're gonna
Yeah.
have a great time.
I'm
And
gonna break my rules because the Peruvians try to do us in. That's what Biggie said. I'm gonna drink some Peruvian coffee.
That's that.
the Incas. Was me with the
yeah, you
yayo?
saw I went into the Spanish.
with the yayo back
the peripio back in the 90s.
I mean,
Biggie's
I don't know
talking
exactly
today.
what he was talking
So
about.
did the Colombians.
Puerto Ricans
then.
from the Bronx.
So
Yo,
anyway.
how was your weekend, Keeper?
Oh, what did I do this weekend? I registered my kids, so all 3 of my
Oh, yeah.
children are going to Gateway.
Yes. Congratulations.
And shout out to community
Yes,
colleges for
congratulations.
affordability for people like my ex-husband and I, who are just regular working people who have 3 kids going to college at the same time.
And now they get to go because you can afford it.
And they get to go because I can afford it. They get to take their time. Like, they don't, like my first daughter, when she went to college, well, I got feelings about that, but she went to a college that was $30,000 per year.
So did I.
Per semester?
So did I.
I don't know. I remember a $30,000 bill. And
shout out to UNH. That's where I went for $30,000 a year.
and it was a challenge to have to pay for it. And she was living in Manhattan, you know. So and it was a lot of pressure. Mm-hmm. She lived on the east side, 90-something street. I don't know. It was crazy. LIM. I was a little baller back then.
Bless your heart.
I know. I was a hard-working nurse.
That's
I used to work hard.
Always remember that. Yes.
But anyway, long story short, like, there was a lot of pressure, and rightfully so, because I'm paying $30,000 for her to go to school to, like, make a decision, make up her mind, do the right thing, you know. But now with these 3, like, they don't have that same kind of pressure. They can kind of take their time, you know, figure out exactly what they want to do. Yeah, and Gateway, I teach at Gateway.
You know, it's a top-notch education.
Yes, and there are a lot of great professors, and they have great curriculum there, and you know, transferring to a higher level of learning is simple. They make it really simple. So I'm just excited.
Shout out Gateway.
Yeah, shout out to Gateway. My kids start this week.
Congratulations, Kebra.
Yeah, your daughter is
with the exception of Helena.
Oh, well, yes, because
Helena will be in Arizona with me.
You're going to Arizona.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. For business or pleasure?
Business. I ain't got no time for no pleasure.
No,
please, Lord, send me some pleasure.
You're doing your thing. We love seeing it all over the place, and we continue to support and share your story. It's awesome.
Thank you.
If I look all the way over, I gotta like turn my whole face, and then I'm not even in the speaker anymore. I might be medicated. You know.
But I'm doing a Women Grow pop-up in Tucson, Arizona. And I so happen to have family there. So my father lives in Tucson.
Really?
My aunt lives in Tucson. And I have not seen my father in like 6 years. My aunt probably in like 3 years or so. So this is, no, that's not true, because she came to the event at the at City Hall. Right. So I saw her probably last year. But I haven't seen my father in 6 years. So
that'd be nice. And you bring your daughter down to meet him.
Yeah.
Good.
Yes, to see him again, and you know.
You know what? Those are those good vibes that we're always preaching out to everybody. Like those are those positive experiences that you just
And you get to go to Women Grow. They pay for it, and you get to go hang out with your family.
Well, it's not all like that, Joe. Don't sell it like that.
I wish they was paying for this. Canna Health is paying for this because it's to promote Canna Health. You know what I mean? But there are times where, you know, that's one thing I love about this industry is because there are opportunities. So, like, I consult for a CBD company. They'll send me to different conferences that I already wanted to go to. And pay for expenses. So there's a lot of I did a panel last Thursday in Boston, and we had medical professionals. So Dr. Rachel Knotts from Oregon, she's on the Cannabis Control Committee, whatever they call it in Oregon, and her sister, mother, and father all own the American Cannabinoid Clinic out there. And so when I tell you, well versed in, you know, the endocannabinoid system and cannabinoids in general, and you know, almost put me to shame on that panel. You know, but anyway, and I also was on there just to shout out Hope Wiseman, the youngest Black woman to own a dispensary in the United States, and Shalene Title was our keynote for the night. And it was put on by Elevate, Beth Waterfall, LaShonda Vincent Lee, you know, just Tushonda Vincent Lee, and all of our, you know, leaders in the industry. It was really nice. But anyway, one of the things that people were talking about, of course, all the time is, how do I get in the industry? What can I do? It's a million things to do. Right. But you need to start with education. You have to be knowledgeable. There's no way you can be like a consultant and have flexibility like some of the opportunities I've been getting, unless you have a basic knowledge base.
Of it,
and you know.
knowledge base certification,
right.
some credibility. Like, don't sell yourself short. Come on, man.
I mean,
you are a nurse.
I am first a nurse.
You
know, but I also, I mean, just because I'm a nurse, like I still drove hours to go to school in Massachusetts.
That's right.
And
you know, you own a business other than just the cannabis business as well.
Oh,
you know, like
this is true.
Like there's so much more that if you want to be in the cannabis business, what I tell people is, what do you do? What is your niche? Do that. Create that business and then integrate cannabis into it.
Right.
Because if you're not doing what you know and love and enjoy, then it's not going to do anything for you.
Or what you already are experienced in, what you have knowledge in already, and just transfer it over.
Exactly.
People don't realize, you know, IT, security, driving, transportation. So if you have experience in customer service,
listen, if you're on Fiverr,
gardening,
you are a
you work in a
creator.
Oh my God!
You know,
for social media, they have
all
everything.
that stuff.
Because there are nuances and different things about the cannabis industry that you have to be aware of. So if I want to, if you're a tax person, an accountant, you know, you need to know about the 280E and you know those kind of things. Like, you know, so it's really important that you bring your skill, fine tune it. You know, get specialized in realtors. I just was posting. Oh my God, did y'all see that? Where in LA,
I was
a realtor is now doing like open houses and making it like a cannabis party too.
You know, it's kind of like what I do on the weekend. So Fridays we host a dinner series up in Massachusetts, private residence. This lady owns this very beautiful mansion. And we get to put a beautiful dinner party. It's not dinner in itself isn't infused. It's just a dinner party where it's social consumption laws. Bring your cannabis, do your thing. We're allowed in the space, and we have a great time.
I mean,
I get to cook, you know, and that's my niche. So, you know, I want to be in the cannabis industry. I cook. So I'll cook, and if somebody does something else, a grower or something, he'll talk about it. And you know, I've done breakfast. I've cooked brunch for Elevate. So where we have that education series, they'll have a breakfast component to it, and you know, we do
super
the thing.
dope, super dope, super cool, and you know, it just you know brings it all back to the great things you could do in this industry.
You got to get creative. You have to think outside.
I mean, because I'm sorry, if you still talking about CBD only, like, and doing these things, and you're not already established, you're gonna be kind of left out in this. You know, you have to.
You can white label from us if you'd like.
Yeah, like think about. You're gonna have to think differently. You know, like going in your kitchen and making salves right now. The competition is stiff, so you're gonna have to make a hell of a good one.
Yeah, you got stiff corporate competition now. Forget solves and body rubs.
And to call them corporate necessarily isn't the way you want to call them, because there's people like Laura who is
corporate rich.
She is. Yeah, she is. But she's not the corporate.
No, I was talking about Whole Foods.
We knew what you talking about.
Yeah.
We talking about.
I went to Vitamin World, and now the Braxtons have their own CBD skin line.
Wow.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is, like,
yeah,
they're all things that like I thought about a CBD skincare line. I thought about something else, which I still won't say because I haven't seen it that mainstream. But
I still got
one
in my pocket too.
You gotta have something.
And if you haven't been on it, you know, like even me with my skincare, it's kind of almost too late.
Yeah,
you know.
I think that you're getting to the point where one of these large businesses decides to say, we're going to take her on as an endorsement for one of these skincares.
Yeah.
And that's another avenue
that we all should be looking into.
I charge
spokespeople.
Right. No, but that's what I do.
I'll do your voiceover for you. You know, whatever you need. Just give us a call. We're all available as talent.
Yeah.
Remember, we're talent here.
If Estee Lauder and Rihanna's listening, Kebra will be your CBD lady.
Yep. And the thing about it is we are influencers in this industry. People do want to hear what we have to say and our opinions on things. So, you know, if you ever do want some guidance, I think we're at the point where this is our weekly free guidance.
Yeah, that's the point. Because realistically, and not to sound tart, we get paid to do this now. A year and a half ago, we used to look at each other and say, we can't wait till we actually get paid to do this. And Kebra has a great company she's working with, consulting. I'm doing a little consulting in the grow sector, which is really nice.
Yeah.
The Connecticut hemp farmers, they come down and which you're more than welcome to anytime you want. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, every day you want to come down, come on down.
All right. And I got to bring Skylar with
all
me.
Of them. Bring them all.
Because he said he wanted to
We're
come.
We're going to have a great time.
I got you.
And it's just, well, how'd you do this? How'd you do that? I'm like, well, I kind of learned how to grow cannabis through some classes. And these are the things that, well, what are these classes? How do I learn? Well, the classes, they're going to start again. And that'll actually piggyback into our caller. But these are conversations that people are like, I never knew this. And I'm like, well, for the last year and a half, we've been doing classes out of multiple locations. And now we move forward into that once again. So now with all these hemp farms opening, it opens up a proof of concept farm is what I like to call it.
Yeah.
And it allows mostly inner city people that I've been working with to experience the joy of plant therapy without having to really go down a route that's more black market or illegal, or that they can get themselves in trouble.
That's good.
Coming down to work at a hemp farm is 100% legal. Everything's licensed. Everything's tracked. Mike explained last week how
they
thorough that process is. So there isn't a shortage on everybody saying how thorough that process is.
Yes. Very, very true.
And did we say, like, Joe's a super educational consultant, to really help? I need Joe's assistance to ask online on the air.
I'm always available.
I need Joe's assistance because we need a Can of Health curriculum.
Well, we're working on it.
So we need to.
We are working on it now, and all we need to do is decide which classes we want to do.
Exactly.
And then we'll continue.
We'll make those curriculums.
Yeah, very specific and updating it because it's been so many changes, and so I think
there was a lull a little bit. I think people got disappointed, myself included, when legalization didn't come through. Now we see.
I cried on the internet.
Right. I wanted to cry in the air, and we see now, I see in the news, it's been brought up again. There was an article in I believe it was the Register, where Josh Elliott wrote that he thinks this is the year for legalization in Connecticut. And I'm not so confident of that. Him and Martin Looney are saying, well, we already have the bills and we were really going to do it, blah, blah, blah. But truthfully, if we had the support of those bills, they would have voted on them. If they're trying to get those same bills passed, though, aren't those same 6 people going to be in objection to it? I mean, what are they doing to move those votes over to yes?
Right.
I think they got distracted.
Yeah, with the tolls,
with all this other hoopla and nonsense and the new governor and all this stuff. I do think they'll be able to focus a little more. I think our cases have been made and now have begun to sink in.
Right.
and so I think our thing we're gonna mess up on if we don't get down on it is starting the process to get the community support now.
Yeah, now.
Like we should be doing some concerted efforts.
There's I in my own personal travels in the hemp sector, at least. So I do some sharecropping with some farmers. These farmers were super right-wing, as they describe themselves, super right-wing, conservative, gun-toting, redneck Republicans. This is their words, my quoting. And these guys say, we were hard-nosed on cannabis. And we hold political positions in our towns. We're hard-nosed. 3 months later, through the growing process of hemp, they are hard yeses. And
that's what I think. I think we didn't realize that it was really necessary for us to be out here modeling this good behavior. We've been on good behavior.
And that's exactly what. And they would want to. I would never. The statement I got, and this is a weird one. Never would have thought I would have saw a bunch of minorities growing weed on my fields. You're 65, bro. Your great granddaddy bought this piece of land, and the Confederate soldiers were marching across it. And he goes, "Yeah, look, an arrowhead on the ground." There was really like an arrowhead on the ground. That was crazy.
Wow.
And they grow this now, and they're like, "Yep, changed my mind about everything."
Yeah,
like.
Back to where it belongs,
I want to move to New Haven
because it's science, it's agriculture, it's there's so. That I mean, if I want to start a campaign, like it's more than getting high.
Oh yeah,
like you know what I'm saying. Everybody just focus. Well, what about the kids and what about the driving people? Like, okay, you're just gonna focus on getting high all the time, or can we talk about the fact that this is an entire industry.
Yeah,
we got our caller is on the line.
Ooh. I don't even.
You know who our caller is?
No.
Our caller is Ellen Brown. Surprise!
Surprise!
Oh my gosh,
Best
how are you guys? Kebra, I'm
surprise.
so sorry I missed you in Mass. I know you did an amazing job on your panel with Elevate and Lou. I can't wait to see your garden and Joe.
Yes.
It's been so long.
Ellen, I love you. I miss you.
Yes, Ellen.
Oh my gosh, I love you. I miss you too. I can't wait to come on down to Connecticut.
Yes. Ellen Brown from Sinsemilla Seminars is on the air with us right now. She is a hemp and cannabis cultivator extraordinaire, but also an expert in all areas of cannabis and hemp.
Yes,
and one of the best educators I have ever encountered in my life.
I have to say, I have never, like, you start some certain people talking, you will start to, like, nod off or something. Ellen is able to captivate a room from a size of 5 to 5,000. I've seen her in so many different settings at this point.
Right.
I'm impressed. Like, I'm just impressed every time I see her. And this awesome person, like, will twist a amazing looking joint and just like be so awesome. I'm like, she's the kind-spirited and good-hearted Ellen Brown.
Yes,
oh, Ellen.
We love her.
Oh my God, gee whiz, guys, you're making me blush.
Flattery there. Look at that.
But the thing is, people don't even realize what a jewel you are, and not just, you know, one aspect. It's not just because you're like a super cultivator. It's not just because you're an educator. It's not just because you're an awesome person. It's not just because you can roll a heck of a fatty. Like, it's because it's all of that.
It is.
And so we just love you, Ellen. Thanks for coming on.
Oh my God, I love you guys too. Thank you so much. And it was a perfect segue, Kebra, what you were just talking about, how it's not about just getting high or, you know, the CBD portion of, or any, you know, cannabinoid portion of the plant. There's such versatility to what the you know, the cannabis and the hemp plant can do. And I'm very excited on September 28th to be teaching a 4-hour cultivation class where we're going to talk about the importance of picking genetics, because you can also grow strains that are great for fiber production and grain production, and looking at the different uses as far as using hemp for textiles, grain, because it's a superfood. It has all 21 amino acids, 9 of which the body cannot create. So if you can incorporate hemp into your meals, that would be, you know, that's a very healthy thing to do. And we can talk about recipes with that as well. And looking at things like hempcrete is going to be huge in the future.
Wow. Yes.
Hemp is a biodegradable plastic is something that I think is really going to excite a lot of people, because it's going to be so great for our environment, and it's going to be such a lucrative new sector to be opening up.
Yeah, absolutely.
And even just can you talk a little bit about, because, you know, we have those fires going on in the Amazon right now, and how growing hemp, with a lot of agriculture too, but growing hemp helps to replenish and clean the air and the CO2 and all that stuff by its oxidation. I don't know exactly.
It's very carbon negative.
There
you go. I got you, Kebra. I get what you're saying, totally.
No, I hear you, absolutely. With hemp, you know, looked more into the phytoremediation, what it's able to do with the soil. So looking at like places where there have been nuclear radiation, like Chernobyl, what the hemp plant is going to be able to do is it's actually going to be able to absorb that radiation in through its roots, and it'll hold in the plant. So then eventually, after a couple seasons, bioenvironmental engineers can go out and they can test the soil, and they can find out that, you know, it's actually clean enough that you could eat and plant crops there again. So that's adding to the versatility. But I would like to look into, especially with the rainforest catching on fire, what can we do with the hemp plant? How can we make sure that, you know, hemp can go in and clean this air? And I know the Amazon is somewhere that's recently catching on fire, but does everyone remember a couple months ago, maybe like a half a year ago, when there were all those fires out in Northern California?
Yes, absolutely.
Specifically, like Paradise got hit really, really bad, and up near Chico.
Yes.
That's when the drought happened.
I used to deliver out there. I used to deliver back when I worked in a dispensary to all of Butte County. So Shasta, Red Bluff, Chico, Paradise, Magalia. And paradise caught like a flame of a match, and it actually burned so fast that I didn't know it at the time because there was so much on the news. But I had recently been there and visited some friends in Chico, and they were saying, it's just it looks like something out of a horror movie, that people actually burned alive in their homes. Wow. People made it to their cars, but they burned in the streets because the houses went up so quickly. So something I was thinking about with hemp is the importance of hempcrete being flame retardant, and maybe trying to get that implemented into houses that are being built, especially in the future, especially in places where it does have such a high likelihood to possibly have another fire of that magnitude happen again, because it could, hemp could save lives.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes, absolutely.
100%.
Hemp can save the planet.
Yeah.
If any plant could, I'd give it that. I'd give it that. Hemp. Yeah.
So you're coming down on the 28th. We're going to do a 2-part class. Part 2, Uncle Lou is going to do.
Oh, yes.
At the farm. So we're going to do Ellen in the classroom, and then we're actually going to take people out to an actual hemp farm to show them a harvest. So
that's so cool. It's the dream's coming true. We used to, I've been watching your journey for a long time with Cannabis CT and the schools, and I'm so thankful to be a part of it. But you guys, it started in a classroom in rented buildings, and now you own your own buildings, and you have your own, prospective
5
businesses,
offices.
and now we're actually able to go to hemp farms with students. This wasn't this always kind of the dream?
Yes,
Phase 2, getting the plants in the room, and then what? Stick a fork in us. I think we're done.
It's pretty cool.
I wish.
It's pretty cool. We can
cool. Hemp has kind of opened the door for that.
We can do a lot of things with plants these days.
You can't go to a grow house and do a tour or do a class. You're not allowed in there. But hemp is a totally different story. So that does open it up for a lot more education to happen hands-on.
On a hemp farm, I believe you get to see a couple different grow applications as well.
Yeah.
Like we talked with Mike, and over at his operation, they're an indoor operation with a great processing facility.
Right.
And they're going to really do big things there. I'm doing some biomass for hempcrete applications. So I have a different type of field. So it's not grown as boutique. That's just that's straight biomass out there for
cut
the hull,
down and
basically.
grind it up.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then I have some raised beds, and I have some potted plants, and I have some nicer parts in the nursery section, and so the whole life cycles. Yeah, we can do a lot of things.
That's good though.
Which is fun to see for the education and the proof of concept, and Ellen will be able to touch base on so much information, and then to literally be able to see some of it, not all of it, obviously, but some of it. Right next week is going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, so it's going to be a good time.
So cool.
Yeah, we're looking forward to that, definitely. So you were in Mass this weekend for CannaCon, am I correct?
Yes, sir.
And how was that?
Oh, my gosh, it was such a wonderful event, and it was really wonderful getting to put together the hemp panel. Mike Goodenough was on it from he's a Connecticut farmer and extractor, and then we also had a man named Adam from Urban Acres, and he runs a hemp farm up in Massachusetts. And of course, the one, the only John Dvorak was there because he's the hemp historian. So we had, an educator as well as a farmer. And Mike, is also doing extractions at his farm in Connecticut with hemp. So it was really cool getting to talk about the education you need to set yourself up for success, and really looking at the importance of, a lot of people in Connecticut have family farms. So this isn't, something we want to get monopolized by, big agriculture or, places like China or Russia that have possibly, more growing land than us. And they're absolutely, like, China's able to outproduce us as far as like CBD and grains. So how do we make sure that these smaller farmers are able to profit and make a living and sustainability, especially since we're seeing the ROI per acre on other crops and commodities go down, things like corn, things like wheat, barley, alfalfa, and that's been people's livelihood. So now we're having this multi-million-dollar crop where you can maybe have a crop that used to be $300 to $500 ROI per acre, and now you're looking at a couple $1,000s per acre. So it's going to be astronomical and really help these farmers.
Yeah, I don't think people really understand that how much value that their land has when you grow hemp on it. really does. And there is tons of opportunities coming up. Right now, where are you in Canada? Are you still working on the?
Yeah, I am. I'm still working in Canada. I'll be back up there next week. Right now I'm in Mass, so that's been awesome. I was up here for CannaCon, and then I'll be back in Canada in 2 weeks, and I'll be up there for a conference called the Grow Up Conference, and it's going to be in Niagara Falls on the Canadian side.
So tell us a little bit about the differences. You've been working in Canada for almost a year now, right? With the Canadian company. Tell us the differences in the Canadian, say, laws and how they structure their regulations up there, the difference in cultivating hemp in Canada as compared to, say, the U.S., because obviously you're involved in Massachusetts as well.
Absolutely. So what's really interesting is, I've started working with this company called Canna Collective Inc., and they're based in Stratford, Ontario, and it's a family-run farm. So they actually converted from growing alfalfa to growing hemp. So I came on with them a little while after they had put it into the ground. So I got to see the harvest portion last year, and then this year I was here for actually sourcing, picking out the genetics, seeding, getting to watch the little babies grow up and be like, oh my God, those are my babies. So the difference is, I take a lot of pride in my plants.
Nice.
So the main difference is that Canada is federally regulated. And with Canada being federally regulated, it's very streamlined. And something to also know is that Canada has been cultivating hemp for a lot longer than we have. So with that in mind, they have a 13-year head start on us.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Yeah, so since they've been cultivating for so much longer, since they've been growing since 1998, they've been growing for so much longer that they were only allowed to grow for grain and fiber strains. So their strains are all approved by Health Canada. They're all approved by the federal government. They give you a list of approved cultivars. So they say, here's what you can grow, and here you can't grow anything that's not on the list. You need a COA, a certificate of analysis to prove that those are the genetics that you say it is. And it's all federally streamlined. So you go and you get your application through the federal government. But check this out. Canada, they don't charge you anything. It's completely free to get your license in Canada for hemp. As we're in the United States, it's 50 little individualized programs, and some of these programs are, monetizing a lot more than others. For example, Maine, they'll charge you for the license, and then it's $50 per acre because they know how much you're going to make on it. As where Mass, it's just a license fee. So, some states are actually monetizing per acre, where in Canada it's completely free. Wow. So it's free, it's streamlined, and what else is great is because it's all federally regulated. My license, the license that we have is, approved by the federal government. All of the processors are approved by the federal government. All of the testing labs that you have to go through are approved by the federal government. So all the data at the end of the year gets sent to the federal government. So they can actually tell you, they don't have states, they have like a province. So which province grew what? So at the end of the year, what Ontario had, compared to Manitoba. Right. So you're going to be able to see who grew grain, who grew fiber, what were kind of, the coveted cultivars of that year. Like Finola has always been really popular. That's something we're growing. Right now we're growing for grain. The downside is it's all federally regulated, and you have to go through those lists of approved cultivars, and you can only choose 52. And because it's federally regulated, we don't have things right now like that Charlotte's Web or that Cherry AK or that Otto. We don't have those high CBD strains. If you can get 30% CBD off of something there, maybe a Carminola, which is an Italian variety, that's like whoop-de-doo. That's like genuinely exciting. As we're in the United States, because we've been breeding for such high CBD and such low such high CBD and such low THC, that we have things like that Otto, we have things like that cherry wine. And in Canada, it's just not a possibility. And it's not going to be a possibility for another 2 to 3 years until the federal government has, right now they have, breeders and cultivators breeding certain cultivars to make sure the genetics are what they say they are. And then in the next couple years, people are going to, and breeders are going to be allowed to provide those genetics. But I couldn't go and order something like cherry wine from, let's say, Colorado and have them ship it into Canada. I would not be allowed to put that in the ground because it's not an approved cultivar. So it's not that the high CBD genetics aren't there, it's that the federal government says no. Wait until we tell you can use that strain. So that's been a hurdle.
Well, when you need some, you got some. We got some watermelon box going. I got box of cherries. I've got berry cherry. I've got some of that Stormy Daniels. I got some. Yeah, you know, whatever you need.
Well, when the time comes, my friend, I'll call you. And I've learned more about importing genetics in from the United States as opposed to doing it internationally as it relates to Canada. Like in Canada, with the United States, like you can import genetics. You need your COA and you need a certificate of the certificate of analysis, as well as phytosanitation. So that means that they make sure that there's no pests or any like residual dirt or anything like that, so you're not bringing any contaminants into the country. So with Canada and the United States, that's a really easy thing to do. But when you're in Canada and you're trying to get something like we recently tried to get Carminola from Italy because it is a higher CBD strain, and it got held at customs, and then we needed to go to like the Canadian Seed Institute and get a tracking number, and then there was another thing they wanted us to get a membership for, and oh, by the way, it's a 4-month process. So it ended up being a lot of extra hoops. So right now we're trying to, work with customs to see about, getting this or having them hold it while we wait to get our, whatever their certificates are. But in the United States, because they know that it's such an easier process, like for trying to buy, to try to buy seeds, the price was astronomical, as where if I went to an Italian provider doing the same genetics, it was a lot lower. So I was finding that, the supply and demand, that the breeders know that these strains right now are coveted because of what we're allowed to do as far as cultivars. So it's been interesting
to try and stay within the regulations and everything. Much different
staying
than
within the
US
regulations. Yeah, as we're here, it's kind of like the a little bit of the Wild West, where there are no list of approved cultivars depending on what state you're in. Other states do have them, so it's really interesting watching. I guess just like our cannabis programs, who does what and who's more lenient, who's more stringent, what's better for the farmer, what we hope to see adapted nationally, and what we hope to see go away.
Right. Yeah. Right. So up in Mass, with the CBD edibles and ingestibles ban, where does that leave the hemp farmers up there? And isn't Mass trying to also make that all CBD products must be grown and processed in Massachusetts as well? Isn't that something?
There's a lot going on right now. So about a month and a half ago, the Massachusetts Department of Agriculture, which we call MDAR for short, sent something out. I wasn't on their email blast, but we've all seen like the screenshot of the letter, and it said something to the effect of all CBD edibles or anything ingestible has to be taken off the shelf. And what this is it's going to hurt our farmers for this season, because they're growing for high CBD so that they could get a manufacturing license, so that they could make these edibles, so that they could put them out into, it kind of was a gray area, so left it open to the general market where you could sell it in health food stores and all these different things. But now they only want them to be sold at the adult use shops. And things are starting to change. And I know that Massachusetts is trying to get a bill to get this overturned, but we're seeing in some states that CBD edibles and ingestibles are being completely taken off the shelves. And then in Maine, they had something very similar happen. They acted very quickly. They were very loud. They were very vocal. They were all put together, and they got it overturned.
Right.
So hopefully we'll be able to have something like that happen. But it's it's something where it hurts not only the farmer, but it hurts the local entrepreneurs and pioneers that have been making reputable edibles in a
Clean kitchen,
and a sanitized
right.
kitchen. They have their ServSafe certification. They go above and beyond to make sure that all their packaging is on point. They get every batch is lab tested. But, with these laws, it's interesting because we also, with regulation, we gain and lose all the time depending on how you look at it. So with these new regulations coming in, these people that have put their livelihood into their brands, into their businesses, I think need some sort of exception or window or possibly preference, especially if they've been doing everything above board to the best of their abilities in a market that was unregulated. And now these regulations are going to push out the little guy and only make room for, these larger corporations, which isn't something that the voters of the Commonwealth wanted with these, the recreational programs. And we definitely didn't think it was going to be like a domino effect of the hemp bill getting passed, the 2018 hemp bill, because now the FDA is really starting to take a look at it and go, wait, what are you putting into your bodies? How do we know? Where are the studies? And we have to give them these studies.
Yes, that's part of what the
retroactively.
Right. That's part of the problem why they're having such a hard time regulating it. They don't really know what to do with it.
Right.
So yeah, why you legalize hemp and then it creates more problems where you would have thought it would have opened up the CBD industry a little more.
And I think that, I guess this is my approach to this and the supplement side of it, where they're looking, wolf's bane, if you eat too much of it, you can kill yourself. But you can still get it on the shelves at every Walgreens and CVS through any of those natural multivitamin and supplement companies. You can get witch hazel and wolfsbane and all those other old school
cat's claw.
Yeah, where we're like, oh, that stuff's not real. That's just in like witch's brew stuff. It's real. You can buy it from Nature's Promise right at CVS, right on the shelf.
Well, even St. John's wort has been shown to hurt, cause, but they still allow it in the stores. So yeah, they've got to really take and look at CBD as a supplement, like an herbal supplement like that, because it comes from an herb. Hello, it comes from a plant.
Exactly, and I think as time changes and the evolution goes on and the education comes on, and it's really trying to make the average person understand like the difference between THC and CBD. But the more I'm learning about hemp, the more I'm learning that 0.3% is an arbitrary number that means absolutely nothing and is put there by our government and is not put there by a botanist or somebody that actually works with plants.
Right.
It's there like that 0.3 means absolutely nothing. So I'm like, wait, can we just call it all cannabis? Can we get rid of marijuana and hemp? But I think that might, for good and bad, confuse people. So it's like as time goes on and we're starting to talk more, it's like, they're actually the same thing. And people will start to, they're the same thing, right? And then that'll start to become, and then, I think really right now what's happening is we're seeing THC being villainized. Because of its psychoactive properties, like the cannabinoid, the bad cannabinoid. No, it's a perfect cannabinoid. It's a great cannabinoid. We should be looking more into THC and now the CBD. And now CBG is kind of starting to be the old but new kid on the block that everybody's talking about. Everybody's more chatter about CBG.
Sleep, so I took some CBG.
Yes, and then CBN will be next.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you though. Like I'm all about the whole plant.
Yeah, me too.
Like I had
full spectrum. Entourage effect.
Yeah,
full spectrum.
Absolutely.
That's all you need is full spectrum. Well, Ellen, I'm going to have to let you go. We only got a few minutes left of the show. So nice talking to you and getting
never a shortage.
Getting a nice few minutes of education. We're looking forward to seeing you at the end of the month, and we'll start the promotion out on that now. That is a hemp and cannabis cultivation class. So part one of a 2-part class.
Thank you guys so much. It's always, such an honor to be on your show, and I truly look forward to seeing you guys soon. I hope you have a wonderful day.
How do you
love
one
you,
more
Ellen.
thing, Ellen? How do people get in touch with you if they want to get some education from Sensibility Seminars, book you for a conference, whatever?
Oh my gosh, that's a great question. Thank you. So you can find me on my website, sensimiaseminars.com, and I'm also on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, Sensimia Seminars.
All right. Yes. Very, very cool, Ellen. Thanks again. We'll see you at the end of the month.
Oh my gosh. See you soon. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
All right. That was always nice to talk to Ellen Brown.
All the time.
Yeah.
She's awesome.
So
she's awesome.
Yeah.
Not much more other than that.
So so we were talking about Connecticut. I don't know where they're headed this year. As far, like the Josh Elliott thinks it's going to go through. Martin Looney thinks it's going to go through. The two governors, I don't know if you saw the governor of New York and the governor went out fishing together to discuss legalization. I wonder if they were just crying on each other's shoulders because, how much they did not get the legalization going on.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that I don't know. People just have issues. Like, let me see how much I can say. I don't want to be revealing too much. But the bottom line is, like, now people in Connecticut are starting to look outside of Connecticut and they're talking about, investing in Mass and investing in, some other legal states instead of taking your money and helping us fight to get the industry we want to see here in Connecticut. We need money for lobbying or a lobbyist, and we need to be somewhat competitive with, because we, like, honestly, as pro-cannabis people, we have several enemies out here.
Lots of enemies that are even within our own industry.
Yes. So we got the growers who,
they want in, even the dispensaries.
To an extent. We got like alcohol fighting against us, tobacco fighting against us.
We got pharma.
Yes.
They're our biggest. Big pharma people don't realize, and now we got the clergy.
And now we got the
clergy.
We
thought we had God on our side, but no.
No, we do have God on our side.
We got the real God on our side.
I got to grab the mic for that.
Wait a second, hold on.
We got God on our side.
The last one I had was kosher.
But what we don't have, or what they don't have, is a lack of knowledge and understanding about the plant. They're focused on getting high and the morality of it, and we've been talking about this. But the morality, the immorality isn't in the consumption of this plant or building an industry around this plant. The immorality has been in the prohibition of this plant, putting people in jail, ruining lives, and continuing to do so. That's immoral.
That's what they need to see.
Exactly.
So now we take this one step further,
right.
Because we talk about God and all the next portion of that, but the leader in medicinal education and research is Israel.
Yeah,
and that's where that idea,
the Holy Land.
So Israel is the
in
forefront,
some people's eyes,
right? So Israel is in the forefront of cannabis research.
Yes.
Their medicinal programs are very ahead of everybody else's. The way they treat cannabis is very much ahead of it. It's very medicinal, and because the city also revolves around itself around its religious beliefs, years back, the highest order of the tribe said that cannabis grown in certain ways is kosher. Because it follows that organic principle, and it's something that was put there. It's a plant. It's
and we teach about it. Uses holy oil.
There was anointing oil in the Bible.
Yes, that's what they brought to Jesus.
Cannabis oil was what they anointed Jesus. Yes,
so it's been mentioned in the one of those great things about going to conferences in the Bible Belt, they make sure that it's part of the conversation.
I'm getting...
we're getting a 2-minute warning. All right.
We're getting a 2 minutes, so let's talk about what's going on.
Oh, what is going on?
So this, at the end of the month, on the 31st, that'll be this Saturday, I guess. It is Gene Traders.
Yes.
Up in Plymouth, Mass, and that starts at noon.
Nice.
And then up there with some CBD seeds.
There we go. Uncle Lou will be there. Gene Traders in Plymouth, Mass. Look that up on the internet. On the 4th of September, we have the Medical Marijuana Discussion Group at the Grove in Milford. That starts at 7 o'clock. On the 18th, we have the Connecticut Normal meeting. And this is all September now because we're heading into the fall.
That's right.
That is at the Cellar on Treadwell. That's at 7 o'clock on the 18th.
Great place. Go out. Check it out.
On the 20th and the 21st at the Omni. And I guess over the few weeks we'll be talking about this. There is a Connecticut Cannabis Conference. Starts at noon on the 20th. And then also up in Massachusetts, there is the Boston Freedom Rally. So that's what's going on this month.
And the Health is open.
Yes, let's do that.
And on Friday in Milford,
from
11 to 3. And in New Haven, Hartford, on Saturday from 10 to 2.
All right.
So if you need your medical cannabis evaluations or to be recertified, come visit cannahealth.com. So visit cannahealth.com is the email address.
And depending what office you go to this week, if you go this week, you'll see me because I got to get mine read up.
That's it. We'll be in. That's it. We'll see either Friday or Saturday. And we're looking forward to the new offices opening this fall.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah. They're looking at mid-September, maybe even sooner. So, hopefully we'll be having Danbury in Middletown.
I have people asking about Danbury very regularly. So we're excited about that.
All right. Nice. One more time. You're listening to Cannabis Corner on WNHHLP 103.5 FM, broadcasting live from downtown New Haven. We're streaming live on TuneIn Radio and NewHavenIndependent.org. We're also streaming live video on Facebook Live. Just go to Facebook.com/New Haven Independent or go to your Facebook page and look us up.
Guys, stay happy, healthy, and high, my friends.
That's it.
I'm in Cali every week. I go hard. Bro said he's got sour, need that whole yard. I'm chasing turkey bag, chasing gold yard. Tell the down we won't go far. Blue sherbet stuff the whole jar. 100 P's on the Bay Bridge, stuck in traffic. If I ever run in